Welcome to the 2024 CreateSpace Public Art Forum information session. My name is Belinda Owase, and I'm the Artist Programs Coordinator for STEPS Public Art, and I'm joined today by with my colleague, Arden.
Hi, everybody. My name is Arden Gibbs. I am a public art assistant here at STEPS, and we are so excited to share more about the CreateSpace Public Art Forum.
If you're unfamiliar with STEPS Public Art, some of the work that we do is support artists and communities in transforming public spaces into vibrant places by creating public art plans, installations, and engagement strategies. STEPS Public Art believes that public art has the ability to challenge the systemic inequities that exist in public space, and we believe that public art should be a need to have for all public spaces. It should also reflect the diversity of communities that host it and foster people's ownership of public space. We hope to challenge assumptions about the world and the people that we share it with, as well as invite genuine community engagement at every opportunity. Programs such as the CreateSpace Public Art Forum hope to foster inclusive public art practices and build capacity for underrepresented artists, as well as demonstrate the power that public art has to reimagine equitably designed cities. So what is the CreateSpace Public Art Forum? The CreateSpace Public Art Forum is a digital forum that virtually convenes 50 participants who identify as Black, Indigenous, racialized, marginalized, rural, and/or youth with disabilities, and between the ages of 18 and 25. This forum will foster connections and build understanding across geographies and culture, as well as provide emerging equity-seeking artists with the skills, relationships, and supports needed to develop their public art practices.
So participants will gain skills. You will get to attend a variety of virtual workshops tailored to encourage participants to grow their understanding of community, identity, accessibility, and land, and apply these understandings to your public art practice. You will have opportunities to connect with and access mentorship from established public art practitioners across the country, as well as build relationships for peer mentorship. You will also have the opportunity to create an artistic response to the themes that resonate with you in the talks and workshops. You will also get feedback from peers to strengthen your work. They will also have access to a public art toolkit tailored to resource sharing for early career artists. Public audiences, participants will have their bios, artist statements, as well as artistic work created for this program featured on the STEPS Public Art website. Financial support, participants will each receive an honorarium of $600 for their full participation in the program, along with a certificate of completion. The responsibilities of the participants. You will view and engage with at least 5 of the 10 artist talks that are 10 to 15 minutes each. These lectures will be pre-recorded video formats with ASL options for accessibility. You'll create an artistic response related to one of the terms of reference documents using the talks and workshops created by the facilitators as inspirations. Participants are not expected to have plans for an artistic work at the time of their application. You will engage with peers and provide feedback through the community Discord page and through a final virtual participant gathering. You'll attend a one-on-one studio visit with an established public artist to gather feedback on artistic work. And then as a participant, it'll be your responsibility to respect the time and knowledge of CreateSpace Public Art Forum facilitators, fellow participating artists, and STEP staff by committing to cultivate a safe, inclusive, supportive, and respectful space for learning, exploration, and growth. And then lastly, you will complete an evaluation survey about your CreateSpace Public Art Forum experience for STEPs and programs funders.
This year's CreateSpace Public Art Forum workshops, I'm excited to announce, are facilitated by an amazing group of artists. Firstly, we have Myrna, based out of Ontario, who will be giving a talk on AR and public art. We also have Amy, based out of Ontario, giving a talk on activism in art, and a sister duo collective by the name of Raza, Laura, and Valentina, based out of Alberta, will also be giving a talk on community engagement and public art, and Ryan will be giving a talk on architecture and public art.
Next, we have Arjun from Nova Scotia, hosting a talk on creating and celebrating identity in public art. We have Exploring History and Narratives in Public Art from Rihanna, who is a previous participant in the forum based in Quebec. We have Working in Northern Communities from Melanie, based in the Northwest Territories. We have Accessibility in Public Art from Isabel, based in New Brunswick. We have Wayfinding as Public Art from Chow, based in Saskatchewan. And then we have More Than Sculpture, Experimental Approaches to Public Art from Theo, based in Manitoba. So what should you expect going into the Youth Public Art Forum? When you're accepted into the forum, you'll have access to 3 different terms of reference documents. These documents will act as a call for submissions. When creating your public artwork, you must consider the space and create a public artwork unique to that space. Each document highlights a different location from across Canada. These spots include urban areas, rural areas, murals, spaces for murals, and sculpture and architectural design. The terms of reference will provide you with a brief history of the area, along with images, the project goals, and the design considerations. So step 1, you would choose a terms of reference document. Then you would download the images and the information, develop a concept, create and design a work unique to that space using the terms of reference. Then you would use an editing application such as Adobe or Adobe Photoshop or GIMP to insert a rendering of what your art would look like in the space. Alternatively, you can also make a physical model and insert that into the space using one of those softwares. And then lastly, you would develop a title and a short description for the work, contextualizing the work to the area or location. So you may be wondering what a terms of reference document looks like. In short, it's a 3 to 5 page document that is compiled of information about the location, site images, design considerations, project goals, and a project overview, as you can see here. Again, you'll have 3 locations to choose from and respond to. This is just an example of one from last year. This next slide is an example of a rendered artwork in a space. This one's from Rihanna from the Public Art Forum last year, again, who will be hosting a talk for the forum this year, which is super exciting. And then the next example here is a mural render from the forum last year by Flanzella titled Becoming Burlington.
Each year, the CreateSpace Public Art Forum also hosts a keynote address, and I'm thrilled to announce that this year's keynote address will be provided and presented by Lou Webb. Lou Webb Projects is a creative union between artists Christine Liu and Alan Webb, through which they mobilize their professional design backgrounds to produce moments of beauty in the public realm. They fuse this expertise with their core interest to imagine how art and design can tangibly evoke past, current, and future narratives for a richer experience of place. Their art practice fueling hybrid forms and new directions within the contemporary visual arts tradition. Light, texture, and sound are key components of their art practice that they weave together through innovative use of materials and responsive technologies to create art that is not only seen, but also experienced. And some frequently asked questions of the CreateSpace Public Art Forum that you may be wondering. Arden, who is eligible to apply for the CreateSpace Public Art Forum?
Well, Belinda, people who identify as early career Canadian-based visual or media artists interested in building or growing their public art practice, folks who identify as Black, Indigenous, racialized, rural, and youth with disabilities between the ages of 18 and 25, and are a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Belinda, where will the forum take place? What platform?
Thank you. As a virtual forum, it will take place online and use various platforms, including Zoom, where the participants can expect to meet each other in drop-in sessions, as well as for their studio visits, and YouTube, which will be utilized for the artist talks, and we'll also be using the platform Discord to connect further. And when will the forum take place, Arden?
This year, the forum will take place January 9th to 29th. To watch the videos and engage with the talks. Following that will be studio visits, and then surveys, questionnaires, and testimonials. Belinda, what is the selection process?
Selection process includes the selection committee of a few artists across Canada, which are representative of various artists, which help select based on general submissions, including CV. The panel members will be selecting based on eligibility, fair geographical representations, and information received in the application form, and also just general experience from the artists. And why should I participate? What are the benefits of participating in the CreateSpace Public Art Forum?
Well, you get a $600 honorarium, a studio visit with a facilitator, you engage with emerging artists across Canada, you get peer-to-peer feedback, you can work collaboratively, and you get to learn about public art with support from STEP staff, admin, and questions, and learn about different geographical regions. How do I apply to be a part of the Youth Forum, Belinda?
Well, you can find a link to the application form / portal in the description box below, as well as the submission deadline. And where would my final artwork be showcased?
Well, it'll be featured on the STEP site along with our social media platforms, and including your bio and artist headshots as well. What accommodations does STEPS provide, Belinda?
Thanks for asking. STEPS provides various sets of accommodations, including ASL and LSQ translation through our recordings, as well as closed captioning, and English and French and multilingual translation via YouTube as well. Thank you. And we are graciously supported by the Government of Canada, as well as Canadian Race Relations Foundation, and ASL services are generously provided by Arts Accessibility Network Manitoba.
If you have any more questions, feel free to contact myself or Belinda or Colin, Public Art Manager here at STEPS, with any questions that you have about the forum. And we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.